What would you name a newborn child if you really, really wanted to ruin their life, but wanted to maintain plausible deniability about having done it on purpose? Petal, Honey, or Bunny. They sound like cute names for a little girl at first, except that it's rather hard to be taken seriously years down the line when you're a full-grown adult and trying to address a boardroom of important people and your name is something like Petal Rose, Honey Little, or Bunny Walker, making you sound like a character straight out of a Beatrix Potter novel or a Sylvanian Families toy. The last name Dyck is very common in the area I live in. When I moved here in grade 8, there was an announcement over the school's PA for a Harry Dyck to report to the office. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, so probably Harry Dyck lmao. Knew a guy named Autograph. That was just weird. My surname is King, so either Joe or Mark or Juan. I have a soft spot for Fontanelle. I had read a story about how a woman unintentionally named her daughter after a concentration camp. She said she just liked the name and had no idea. The craziest part was that she got pretty far before anyone told her. My granny is called Eileen. Little did my great-grandparents know that she would contract childhood polio that left her with one leg longer than the other. I feel terrible for this, my granny is a saint, but come on. There's a guy here in DC shown on the news all the time. He's like the spokesperson for the US Park Service, so he's on whenever there's an event on or around the mall. Anyway, his name is Mike Litterist. They don't pronounce the T at the end like they absolutely should more often than not. It always amuses me. Not the name you really wanted as a kid. Then you're dealing with the press for a living? LOL edit, his name is actually Mike Litterist. They just say Latourus. A girl I knew had a brother named Jack Zopf. Ljot's daughter. English translation, ugly rock ugly ugly daughter. This is a perfectly valid name around here and I don't know why. It's dying though thankfully. Tony spelled Tuffney. Christopher as Christopher or Maffley as Molly. I had an art teacher in middle school whose name was Mrs. Cox. We would talk in hushed tones about the potential first name she gave her son. Was it Harry? One day, she heard our musings and relented that she named her son Seymour, and that we were to end our nonsense immediately. It had the opposite effect and our giggles when she walked into the room only intensified. She had married into the name, but I'm unsure what her maiden name is. We later found out she named her firstborn son Seymour after her father, an apparent tradition in the family her husband chose to honor. Unfortunate for that boy that his last name was also Cox. I imagine school was not easy for the lad. Edit, spelling, on mobile. Bambi Lamb, if you're reading this, sorry I kept singing Black Betty. Bend over. Legitimate actual person my sister knew. His parents were really nice people too, just painfully naive. Deeply religious types. Let us say after 5 years in a West London comprehensive, Ben was neither naive or religious. Gaylord. Yes, this is an actual name, and it makes me depressingly sigh to think of it again. Syphilis. I had a friend who thought this was the most beautiful name, but he didn't know it was an STD person facepalming. XAEA 12. Latrine. Placenta. My older sister is a nurse and she actually had a patient who named her baby girl this because she thought it sounded pretty. I mean, how would you even shorten that into a plausible nickname? Adolf. Nobody recovers from that anymore. In high school, I knew someone whose last name was Null and she crashed databases and web forms everywhere she went. She changed her last name legally on her 18th birthday to Null, so it was pronounced the same, but didn't crash things.